What is up, guys? I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're covering some more r/am I the butthole. If you're new here, please consider hitting that like, that subscribe and maybe that notification bell too. From tomorrow I'm going to be on holiday for 1 week, so I will be looking at the comments. I will be replying to your comments as much as I can also, and I have got content for the whole week. I hope so anyway. I need to double check that later. And just a massive thank you for being here, looking after my channel and looking after me. You're truly appreciated. And with that being said, let's get into today's stories. Much love, guys. Our first story comes from Lost Recommendation 4. Am I the arsehole for not forgiving my 27 fiance 28 for missing the birth of our daughter? My husband's girl best friend, we call her Madison, has never liked me. For reasons I guess I will never know. Anyways, my fiance, we're calling Michael, and I were hanging out with a little bit of the friends that we shared. It was nearing the end of the night and Madison was the only friend left. When Madison came out crying with Michael looking angry, I was around 9 months pregnant at the time. The thing that really caught my attention is when Michael called me a raging bitch and a cunt. Myself being a hormonal pregnant woman started crying that in the name calling. I asked through the tears what was going on. He then proceeds to tell me about a text message I sent to Madison. In the message I told her to fuck off and about how Michael and I would not allow her near our child. I will admit that I did send this, but it was taken completely out of context. I only sent this text after the many racist text messages that she sent me talking about my child and I. I am biracial. Instead of hearing me out, Michael kicked me out of the house that we shared. His name was on the lease. Without arguing, I decided to leave, not wanting to start anything else. As I was walking out the door, I felt a cramp in my lower abdomen. I thought nothing of this because I was not due for another 3 weeks. When I flinched from the pain, Michael told me to stop faking. On the way to my mum's house, I felt a gush of water and immediately turned the car around so I'd make it to the hospital. While driving, I took out my phone to call Michael, but my call was quickly declined. At this point, I was in too much pain to call anyone else and arrived at the hospital. I pushed for 2 hours without an epidural and gave birth to a beautiful baby girl named Grace Noel. Hope I got the second bit right there. Giving birth without my fiance by my side was the final straw for me. I decided to do something and post all the hurtful messages Madison sent me on Facebook. Maybe 45 minutes to 1 hour later, Michael calls me asking me if we could talk. I inform him about my whereabouts and he showed up about 42 minutes later. He's tried to apologise multiple times, but I don't think I can forgive him. I went through the pain of pushing out an 8-pound baby by myself, all because he chose to believe his best friend without listening to his fiancée. Am I the arsehole for not wanting to forgive him? As soon as he called you a raging bitch and a cunt, I'd have been fuck you and out of there from that moment onwards. You didn't have to stand for that. And the fact that he just took your friend's side without considering all sides here, especially you being his fiancée, is ridiculous. And then he told you that you're faking it when you was walking out the door. Wow. What she sent in the text message may be completely wrong, but we don't know the full story there. But I got to say myself, I think not the arsehole in this situation, because this guy sounds like a right arsehole. But let's go down into the comments below to see what we can find. Danny Caps fan says, he's not only missed the birth of your daughter, he's called you grossly misogynistic names, believed his toxic friend and wouldn't even listen to you, kicked you out of the house 9 months pregnant, when you showed signs of pain from going into labour as you packed to go, accused you of faking. That he didn't ask for an explanation of why you told Madison to fuck off speaks volumes. He wouldn't take your cause when you rushed to the hospital and you had to post his toxic friend's nasty message on social media for him to realise what a jerk he was and to talk to you. You should have refused the call. There are lots of things he's done and would warrant your decision not to forgive him, not just making you go through labour alone. Not the arsehole. Snarkin in the USA says, not the arsehole. You do mean ex-fiancé, right? And Opie says, hopefully soon. And Craven Sapphire says, not the arsehole, and his and Madison's relationship sounds suspect as fuck. I would not be with someone who talked to me that way and not even hear my side of the story. He made his choice and now it's your turn to make yours. I personally wouldn't forgive him, especially when he accused you of faking abdomen pain when you're fucking pregnant with his child. And he kicked you out on top of it. Absolutely not. You deserve better than that. And for the first story, I turn it to you guys. What do you guys think of this story? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to vote on that poll in the description for story 1. And our next story is from Bubblegum Fun. Am I the arsehole for refusing to help with housework because it's my wife's job? Before you give your knee-jerk arsehole, hear me out. For context, my wife 25 female and I 27 male have been married for 3 years. We have a 2-year-old daughter and live in a 2-bedroom apartment, which isn't very big. Outside of this argument, we have a solid relationship and I love her very much. Ever since our daughter was born, my wife has decided to be a stay-at-home mum until she starts kindergarten. While surviving with her paycheck is very difficult considering the area we live in, she was adamant this would be best for our daughter, as she has read developmental books saying that children should spend their fundamental development years with their mothers. As a result of this, I'm the sole breadwinner and I work 2 jobs to support us, one of which is a manual labour job. When I come home from work, I'm exhausted and I just want there to be dinner on the table and for the house to be clean. This has been our arrangement since our daughter has been born, while we share childcare. She's responsible for all other household duties. Lately, my wife has admitted that she's resentful of the fact that I don't help out more at home, while I'm constantly stressed and tired from work. She expects me to share the household responsibilities as well, such as cooking a few times a week, washing the dishes when she cooks, doing the grocery shopping with her list, babysitting for full evenings while she goes out with friends, and so on. I myself don't have the pleasure of going out drinking with friends either, and her request seems unfair. She has all day to do these things and they are her job. I told her how I felt about it, and now she's giving me the cold shoulder complaining about how it's because I have a toxic masculinity view of the household duties. This isn't true. If the roles were reversed and she was the one constantly working, I wouldn't dream of asking her to help with running the household on top of that. Am I the arsehole or is she being the unreasonable one? I seriously don't see what I've done wrong here. I got a feeling I'm going to get burned on this one for my opinion. And I don't mind being educated on these things, so if you've got an opinion that differs from mine, I'm all up for it. Let me know. I'm all ears, I'm very open to these kind of things. But this guy works 2 jobs so she can be a stay-at-home mum. She wanted to be a stay-at-home mum. She wanted those developmental years with a young child because she read it in a book, and that's what she wanted, so that's what she got, and he's happy to do that. And I think personally, if I was in that guy's position and I was working 2 jobs and coming back to a messy house and not having food and stuff, when that's the job that she chose, I don't think I would be too happy either. And I don't think the comment on the toxic masculinity view of household duties is a fair comment either, and I would definitely call her out for that, because I'd be pissed off to be called that after I'm working all these hours. I would even go as far as suggesting that she get a job as well, and then you can just balance it out once again, because clearly it's not working and she's going to constantly keep resenting you for this. But yeah, I'm going to have to say, not the arsehole in this situation. But as I said before, I'm open to your views. Just let me know. I'm always happy to be swayed on different things, Henchwench89 says, not the arsehole. You have to work 2 jobs so she can be a stay-at-home mother. Part of being a stay-at-home mother is doing the household chores. If she doesn't like the division of housework, she can go back to work and you can go down to working 1 job, and then you can talk about sharing housework. Visible Piano says, and quotes, babysitting. It's your kid, it's not babysitting. That being said, my opinion is that she should be working hard when you're out of the house to get everything done. If she has a break, she should make up the time when you're home. If it's still too much for her to get done, you should share any extra chores, i.e. you should be working equally hard. If you don't get the nights off, I can understand why you're annoyed she thinks she would get them. It should be both or neither, so probably not the arsehole. Shiro-chan404 says, dude, 80 hours of work a week, that's too much. Even in my bit life, my character won't work more than 70 hours a week. Shit bro, you need to quit a job and get your wife to go back to work, otherwise you'll give yourself a heart attack. And I was actually expecting a lot more you're the arseholes on this post. I don't know why, I just was expecting that. But I'm going to turn it to you guys to see what you think of this story. Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to vote on that poll in the description for story 2. And our next story is from Airplane Babies. Am I the arsehole for not switching seats with a mother on an airplane, then ignoring her children? I saw a post on another subreddit that reminded me of this situation, and I'm curious to know what other people think. This happened nearly 2 years ago, but my family still brings it up sometimes and says that I was in the wrong. I was flying to visit my family and had an aisle seat, which I was very thankful for because I kind of get claustrophobic in the middle or window seats. I was getting buckled up and everything when a lady comes over with her 2 kids, maybe 4 to 5 years old, look like twins. She sees me sitting there and asks if I'll be willing to switch seats with her. I don't remember exactly where her seat was, I think it was a few rows behind mine, and it was a window seat. I didn't want to switch and I told her as much. She got very annoyed and asked me again. And again, the flight attendant told her we're going to take off soon, so the lady asked me to move yet again. When I said no, she said it was fine, but I'd have to watch her kids. I told her I wouldn't do that, and she should have bought seats together if she was that concerned. She got all huffy and just went back to her seat. I put my headphones on and we started watching a movie. I didn't really pay much attention to the kids. They started arguing at some point and it led to one of them crying. After a few minutes of screaming, the mum came over and asked me why the hell I wasn't doing anything. I said that I wasn't going to take care of someone else's kids, and I had explicitly told her at the beginning of the flight. Eventually, the flight attendant found someone in an aisle seat that was willing to switch with a lady, so that the person took the window seat, the lady took my seat, and I took the other aisle seat. When I told my family about it, they said I was an arsehole and should have just watched out for the kids. I don't think it's my responsibility though. They're not my kids, and it's not my fault that the mum didn't buy seats together. Also, if something happened and the kids got hurt or something urgent, I would have helped. I just didn't want to spend my entire flight tending to them and breaking up arguments. Am I the arsehole for ignoring them? Hell no, you're not the arsehole for ignoring them. I would have ignored them too. I wouldn't want to be responsible for someone else's children. I get anxious enough on flights without having to tend to someone else's kids, you know. However, in that situation, if it was a window seat for a window seat, I probably would have just swapped. I wouldn't have dealt with the hassle in the end. So unless the seat was really special, like it was a middle seat that you wanted over the wing or a rear seat that you really wanted, I'm going to go with, and I'm probably going to get burned for this one, you are the arsehole just for not swapping the seats to begin with. You could have just easily avoided that conflict. I know you didn't have to, but you know, in my position, I would have done that. I'm happy for you guys to call me the arsehole in that one if you want to, but I would have just swapped to save all of that hassle to begin with. But let's go down into the comments below to see what we can find. Bitchy Badger says, not the arsehole, you're under no obligation to switch seats, especially if you paid for selection. If she wants to sit with her kids, she can pay for this, and by no means are you her babysitter. Her kids, her responsibility. End of story. Delogos13 says, info, why was the mother not seated with her children? This matters. If she books separated seats with plan of getting a stranger to watch her kids or switch with her, then she's an arsehole, both to you and to her kids. But I've got to tell you, airlines love to screw people over. She could have booked seats together and then had them changed at last minute. They could have been bumped from another flight, or it could have been cancelled and had to take what was available. There is no guarantee that gate agents are willing or able to reassign seats so that families can sit together. There are 1,000 ways this could have been not her fault, and asking / bullying a stranger to switch may have been the best plan available to her. Edit, I agree she should have asked the flight attendant for help. Pack 7800 says, everyone sucks here. She sucks for just giving up like that. She passively aggressively gave up instead of trying to find a solution. But you suck because you have no empathy. Airlines screw people over all the time. They actually have a habit of overbooking flights in case some people miss it. You don't know what happened. You could have also tried to find another person with an aisle seat to switch with, and then they could have taken her seat. But both you and this lady just decided to be passive aggressive, and then you both subjected the entire plane to screaming children. And what do you guys think of this story? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to vote on that poll in the description for story 3. And our next story is from Cooties. Am I the arsehole for not telling my roommate about my vagina razor? I know it's not technically the vagina, but that's what's being referred to. I, female 21, live with 2 roommates, R and M, both also female 21. R has had a habit of using M and my stuff, which wouldn't really bother me except she leaves containers of things open, never put anything back where she found it. Normally she sticks to using some lotion or face wash and stuff like that. Now the situation. I have 2 razors, one I use for legs / armpits and the other I use to shave my pubes. From here on out, this will be referred to as the vagina razor. The razors are different colours so I don't confuse them, and I usually keep them in my drawer in the bathroom. Each of us have one drawer and one shelf in the cabinet for our own stuff. Last night I used my vagina razor while in the shower, and when I was out I set it on the bathroom counter to dry before putting it back in the drawer. I did my skincare routine and brushed my teeth, and I ended up forgetting to put it back. So it was left on the counter and I forgot about it until about an hour ago. I went to take a shower and saw my vagina razor in the shower on a small shelf in there. When I picked it up, I noticed it was all gross and covered in hairs and shaving cream. That's when I remembered I had left it on the counter. I get out the shower and take the razor into the living room where R and M were and watching a movie, and asked if anyone used my razor. R casually said she did, so I tell her she owes me a new blade. R says no, that it's just legs and I'm being dramatic. But I'm literally grossed out at this point because who the fuck shares razors, no matter what they're used for. I tell her I don't use the razor on my legs, I use it to shave my pubes, and R starts freaking out. She starts yelling, calling me gross, disgusting, etc. and saying that I should have told her that before. I tell her she shouldn't have used my stuff. R texts basically all of our friends and their opinions are divided. While most agree that R shouldn't use our stuff without asking, they also think I should have told R what I use the razor for, since I know she uses our stuff. R's girlfriend called me disgusting because according to her, I let R rub my vagina on her legs, which is just insane. I've been getting text messages from our mutuals telling me I should have told R since I know how she is. But I don't agree. None of this would have happened if she didn't use my stuff. Am I the arsehole here? Edit. I've been speaking to our friends and showed my roommates this thread. M is 100% on my side, as has been the whole time, but R is still upset that she used my vagina razor on her legs and is acting huffy and annoyed. She also says I shouldn't have left the razor on the counter either, since that's also gross. It was face up, so the actual razor was touching the counter, but I digress. Also learned that apparently she fudged the story a bit and told our mutual friends that she had used my razor but the blade had been new, and I was freaking out and being a drama queen. I still don't understand how this is any better because either way she would have used my razor, but whatever. I started sending a link to this post to our friends and now most of them seem to be on my side, but also feel bad that R is upset. Hopefully you all are right and she stops using my stuff after this. Edit 2. Since some people are asking, I use 2 separate razors, so the vagina razor stays sharper longer since I shave that area less often than legs/armpits. Also, I've taken your advice and removed all my products from the bathroom and will now be taking everything in and out of there with me as needed. Oh my word, really? Really? I don't understand how anyone can be on our side in this situation. For one, using someone else's razor is fucking disgusting. It's scraping all sorts off that person's skin while shaving at the same time. Oh, imagine what's in that blade and they just left it on the side dirty with hairs on and create and what's this excuse from R and her friend saying that you should have told R that what you use the razor for? Like, at what point do you tell, when you buy a new razor, do you walk out into the living room and go, everyone guys, this is my vagina razor and this is my leg razor, just in case you're gonna share it with me? What the fuck kind of logic is that? I think the second edit in this one is the best thing, is that you just take everything out of that bathroom and put it in a little bathroom bag or whatever, and then just take it in and out when you want to, because that is just crazy. Not the arsehole in my opinion, but let's go to the comments to see what we can find. Welly says, not the arsehole, you know how she is the worst excuse ever. Unholy Lavender replies to this saying, it feels like it's a phrase in the same vein as boys will be boys, a way to excuse people from taking responsibility for their behaviour. The bear will be fine says, not the arsehole, who the hell shares razors at all? That's almost as bad as using someone else's toothbrush. Borrowing some face soap or shampoo is one thing, but stuff like mascara, eyeliner, lipstick, razors, toothbrushes and toothpaste should not be shared. It's entirely proper to demand that R replace the blade she wrecked. That's just disgusting on her part. Opie replies to this saying, that's exactly my point. I don't really mind when she uses something like lotion or shampoo, but a razor? I don't know why she would even think to do that. Dragon Artist 93 says, not the arsehole, don't use other things. She took a risk. It's not suddenly your fault or responsibility. Your friend needs to learn some boundaries. Oh god. And I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys think of this story? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to vote on that poll in the description for story 4. And our next story is from Nail Lucky. Am I the arsehole for buying my son a car but not my daughter? So I have 2 kids, a 20 male and an 18 female. My son is a football player at Division 1 public school. My daughter just graduated. She'd be going to the same school. It is in-state. I'm pretty well off and could have paid for my son's education, but everything is covered from football. I give him some extra spending money. I also bought him a brand new car, a Hyundai, and paid to insure it. Well, technically the car is mine because it's easier/cheaper that way, but I consider it his. My daughter won't be getting financial aid. She didn't play sports, and for anyone thinking otherwise, by law, there are many athletic scholarships for men as women, so she had equal opportunity as him. She didn't do well enough in school to get merit-based aid, and I make too much for her to get need-based aid. So I will be paying for her education. I will cover as much as my son's football scholarship does, everything education related, room and board, and a small stipend for personal expenses, but I won't give her the extra money, nor will I buy her a car. My reason is because my son worked extremely hard in high school. Playing football with all the practices, lifting weights, etc. is a lot of work, and he worked harder than most of his peers. He also got good grades, and college football is basically an extremely physically exhausting full-time job, maybe more. There is barely enough time for actual school, but my son still manages to get good grades. No way does he have the time to get a job and buy a car himself. My daughter, on the other hand, basically just coasted through high school, didn't spend much time on extracurriculars, she just put enough effort, almost none as she is very smart, required to automatically get into the state public universities. So I think that if my daughter wants a car and extra spending money, she can get a job. She could easily get a part-time job that would cover a car and still have much more free time than my son does. If she saves enough for a down payment, I would even buy the car on the condition that she pays me for it and the insurance monthly. My daughter thinks I'm being incredibly unfair, that I favour my son because he's a man and an athlete. I think that she's a spoiled brat, and it would actually be unfair to my son to buy her a car on top of everything else I'm doing for her. ETA, I've decided to give my daughter an opportunity to earn the car by getting good grades freshman year. If she gets, say, a 3.5, I will give her the car of her choice, of similar price to her brother's, pay to insure it and give her extra spending money. ETA, I've been banned, so I can't reply anymore. Whilst reading this post, and again I might get shot down for this, there was one line that stood out to me. My daughter thinks I'm being incredibly unfair, that I favour my son because he's a man and an athlete. Now, I'm not sure about the man thing so much, but the athlete one, that certainly jumped out to me through this post, that you're certainly favouring him over that he lifts weights and he's playing football, practicing lifting weights, etc. and it's a lot of work and it's physically exhausting, a full-time job. And you're kind of almost expecting your daughter to be exactly the same. You know, we're all different in this world. We all live our lives in different ways. And to me, it doesn't really sound like your daughter's being lazy in this post at all. It just sounds like she wants to take a different path in life. And what's wrong with that? I don't see any issue here. Yes, be proud of your son, be proud of his achievements and him working hard. That's an absolutely fantastic thing. But also support your daughter in whatever she wants to do in her life. She may not want to go down that route. She may not want to go down the academic route. There's nothing wrong with that. And you know, even so, even if you don't get her a car or whatever, just don't punish her for making her own choices in life. You know, you got to respect that independence, I think, anyway. I might be totally wrong. As I said, I'm always happy to be educated on this channel. Anyway, let's go down to the comments below to see what we can find. Atom Age Robot Puncher says, "You're the arsehole. If this was only because she slacked off and didn't try in school, that would be one thing, but you're the arsehole for expecting your daughter to be the same as your son. Maybe she isn't into or good at any sport. Maybe she's just not as scholastically capable. Most kids don't get picked up on athletic or scholastic grants. I don't think you should have to buy either kid a car, but your rationale is certainly unfair." JM Alko says, "No interpersonal conflict. You're assuming she's going to be upset. You don't think too highly of your daughter. I kind of feel sorry for her." A Pinch of Truth says, "Not the arsehole, but the way you talk about your daughter is horrible. I get your son done extremely well and you're proud, but you have worded it in a way like you resent your daughter, and do favour your son a hell of a lot more. Your son is well rewarded for his efforts, but don't push your daughter away just because she hasn't achieved as much as him." And finally, what do you guys think of this story? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to vote on that poll in the description for story 5. Once again guys, thank you for being here. As I said, I'm away from tomorrow, but there will be content coming out all week, hopefully, if it all goes well. I hope you enjoy it while I'm away. Please look after my channel, I hope. And I will see you when I get back, and I'll be in the comments as well. So I'll see you soon. Take care guys, much love, goodbye.